Artists find inspiration everywhere. Some draw from childhood experiences, some take from literature, and others find themselves influenced by locations or time periods. While books, films, paintings, and music can all create the atmosphere of a specific time or place, I think that the way music does so is the most special. Books, films, and paintings must explicitly depict their setting, but that's far from the case for music. There's a special abstraction in the way that music can interact with our predisposed ideas of what a certain decade or location might have sounded like. Synths and punchy bass draw images of the 80s, while muted brass and smooth, brushed drums make us think of New York in the first half of the 20th century. In recent times, Lana Del Rey's iconic album Born to Die summons imagery from the Roaring '20s, while Bon Iver's For Emma has become synonymous with the darkness of a rural winter. But the purpose of this video is not to analyze the phenomena as a whole. Instead, I wish to take a look at a masterpiece of atmosphere, Iron and Wine's pastoral classic, Our Endless Numbered Days. Each and every aspect of Our Endless Numbered Days contributes equally to its unique, genre-defining aesthetic. The first of these factors I'm going to take a look at is the man himself, Sam Beam. Born in Chapin, South Carolina, not only does the songwriter and multi-instrumentalist look and sound like a character from some frontier homestead long ago, he practically was one for a good portion of his life. Chapin is a town of just over 1,000 people, with a tiny center surrounded by miles and miles of forest, fields, and sparsely placed homes. As a child, his mother was a school teacher, while his father worked in land management, and the family made regular trips deep into farm country to visit his grandfather's farm. It's easy to see how such an upbringing resulted in calm pastoral music. As he came into adulthood, Beam earned a bachelor's degree in art from a school in Virginia, and later became a professor of film at the University of Miami. During this time, he wrote, practiced, and recorded his first album, years before it saw the light of day. A work of lo-fi fuzz and silence, Creek Drank the Cradle is regarded highly by music critics, but largely forgotten by fans. It wasn't until the release of his second album that Iron and Wine truly took off as a musical entity with distinct form and style. It makes sense that Sam Beam was at first unaware his music would ever be heard. Our Endless Numbered Days is deeply personal. The lyrics are both simple and abstract, insomuch that it feels almost like we're reading his dream journal. It's a collage of memories, desires, and ineffable emotions. On the song Sodom, South Georgia, Beam describes the cycle of life where he's from, using his father and his daughter as actors in the never-ending play of life and death. While an artist from the city might approach the narrative differently, Iron and Wine's rendition of the cycle of life is distinctly his. Even at a particularly low point of the album, his soft words dotted by little more than a particularly passive guitar strumming, the spirit of the country is still there. The spirit of the country being here, that life goes on no matter what, individual humans having but small parts in the bigger picture. Like all tracks on the album, Sodom, South Georgia is full of rural imagery in addition to its commentary on the rural mindset and way of life. A lot of the songs on the album stand out individually, though detractors to Iron and Wine's style would probably say the opposite is true. The stylistic consistency is actually one of its better qualities, in my opinion. Iron and Wine's style is best suited to consistency. This is something that speaks for itself. All you have to do is take a quick look at how his albums have been received through the years. Iron and Wine is credited with 7 albums to date. Our Endless Numbered Days is by far the highest rated and the best selling. Some of his more recent and eclectic efforts were even received poorly, with low ratings and lower sales. It's undoubtable that despite criticism, Iron and Wine does best producing a consistent and simple product. Passing Afternoon, the record's final track, gives the album its surprisingly meaningful title. The first 2 lines of the second stanza go as such.
There are things that drift away, like our endless numbered day. Autumn blew the quilt right off the perfect bed she made.
The lines you heard are a statement on life in the country, continuing this mode of observation as the central meaning of the entire album. The atmosphere Sam Beam crafts for us functions almost like an expressionist rendition of rural farmland, with heavy emphasis on the passage of time and nature's indifference. Cinder and Smoke, the album's third track, is especially evocative in both subtext and immediately apparent aesthetic. The song features lyricism steeped in hazy memory, while a passage of layered humming makes us think of a campfire in the forest or on the plains. The humming is so primal, in fact, that it sounds almost otherworldly, being so unlike what we expect to hear from a human's voice. For a moment I felt an atmosphere of backwoods paganism, animal icons, and folklore swimming just beneath the surface of the song. The true success of Our Endless Numbered Days is its ability to make us think of the American wilderness and rural way of life, while also being an incredibly simple work of art. Hushed and layered vocals sound almost like the rustling of grass on a warm summer's night, and the listener finds themselves soothed by the relaxing chords coming from Beam's solitary acoustic guitar. The occasional slight flaw in vocal recording quality or the occasional banjo melody result in a tasteful rustic feel. By drawing from his own legacy, the legacy of rural America, Sam Beam created an album and an atmosphere that's going to outlast all of us. The record is safe, it's comfortable, it embodies what many of us want out of life in this chaotic world. Each moment and sensation depicted on the album is approached with ambivalence. Love, family, the cycle of life, and Americana are looked at through a lens of peace and observation. Iron and Wine's Our Endless Numbered Days will be remembered as an essential piece of American music for how well it captures the spirit of his homeland.